Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, we have the TT02 running pretty nice at the minute. Quite happy with how it's running, quite happy with how it's handling. Basically, I'm looking for ways to improve it. Now, we lost the rear wing in first outing, but I think the stock wing is a bit heavy and I'm not really sure if it's the best type of wing for it. But Tamiya do sell the OP 1773, so this is a fully adjustable aluminium mount. Not technically made for the Senna body, but we should be able to get that to fit, and then if we do change body, at least we've got the mounts that should go on any other touring cars. And we have the OP 1729, which is the touring car style carbon effect wing, and that should fit. It's roughly quite right width for it, and it should look quite nice, but it, more than anything, it should actually be usable. I believe you can get a mount that'll go all the way down to the back because there's these two little holes. But if you go for that mount, then it's only really going to fit on the Senna, and I wanted one that anybody that's raced know these bodies don't last forever. And if I decide not to go with a Senna, I wanted something with a flat mount, so it gives you a few more options of what body shells you can mount it to. But let's bring you in for a close-up look, show you what we get, more importantly in this than this, because this is just a wing that needs cutting out. So we just need to cut that out. But more importantly, what bits come with the aluminium mount. So let's bring you in for a close-up look and see how well this fits. Alright, so once we've cut the little wing out, you do have some of the protection film on it, and it is really nice. You also got two little marks on it, so you can use them to help line up where you're fastening these things. The actual wing does come with some plastic mounts, so these are just the ones with two little holes, and you can mount that, and then you've got a fixed wing, and it does come with a bunch of little body clips to go through and hold these on, and some little O-rings to go under these plastic bits that you put underneath the shell just to strengthen it up. But the actual metal mount, you've got multiple mounting positions on the actual wing itself, so you can mount it further forward or further back depending on what wing you're going to fit and how you want it to go on. And it does advise in instructions, and I'll put a picture to the instructions for both the wing and then the instructions that come with the actual aluminium fitting kit. But basically what it's telling us to do is mount these on the inside, and then you're going to mount them to the inside of it. So I would suggest using thread lock on these. I'm going to build it up initially without using thread lock just to speed it up, and then I'm going to see if we actually need it. And I'm just going to mount these because I'm going to see what sort of angle we want these at first when we get them mounted to the actual body, because this is going to depend on what body you fasten it to. And then once I get it in the position I want, then I'll drop these two screws out and thread lock them. And if you're wondering what screwdrivers these are, I'll drop a link in the description. They're the just JIS screwdrivers. Basically they fit Tamiya screws perfectly. Anybody that's ever built a Tamiya or Tamiya kit knows what it's like getting these screws to fit, and I'm not a huge fan of the sort of handles that are on the original or the genuine Tamiya screwdrivers. So once we get that into position, then we're going to want to get our wing. So we're going to want to take us wing, and we're going to pop some little holes in it. And when I'm putting holes through the body shells or wings, I like to get it pretty close from one side and then just flip them over, and it just leaves a tidier hole. So it does advise us to use the bigger washers on these, which is a strange fit with a countersunk head, but again, not entirely made up my mind which position we're going to keep these on, so I'm just going to get them somewhere near. And once you've mounted it with these, there's nothing stopping you putting another hole through. If you wanted to fix it on that bit more secure, you can always mark up the hole in front or behind it and get yourself some more screws. So I'm just going to get them somewhere near. It does look like you're going to be able to get it pretty close on this body. So we could use the original holes and then put two more just behind it. But looking at it, I think to fit it on the Senna, probably going to be better off flipping these round so they're on the outside. So let's get them flipped over. Right, so with these two flipped round so they face outwards, it does line up much better. You could mount it down here, but then if you get rear-ended, you're going to lose your wing again. So purely just in the hopes of it lasting more than one race, I'm going to mount it slightly forward where the original ones mount. So all we need to do now is mount our screw holes and get them put in the body, and then we can get the kit mounted from underneath the body shell. So I'll get them mounted. You could use the original holes and take two further back here, which is also an option, which I might end up doing and just putting some spacers under there just to lift it up. But I think I'm going to try and get it as far forward as possible, purely in interest of it not getting destroyed when I get it from behind. So we'll get the holes marked out and get them put in. So this is pretty much where I'm going to want it to mount. So if it gets it at the back, it's a little bit in. Got the front two ones put in. Then I just like to try and level the spoiler up or wing as much as I can, tighten them up. So now we've got it where we want it. I just tighten the front screws up, just tight enough to really hold it in place. We can have one more check, make sure it's basically where we want it, and then we can remove his wing, and that'll let us get the holes or the positions for the holes for the rear of the bracket. So once we drop that off, we can just make us marks, then take it off, or just loosen it, spin them out way, and we've got us rear holes mounted then. So crack on with that. You're going to want to take a screw, one of the washers, one of these little spacers, and then a little O-ring, and then you're going to want to put that in the body shell, and we're going to want another washer, another spacer, and get that in the shell. Then we're going to want to take one of those mounts and get it started. Then we're going to want another screw, washer, spacer, and a rubber O-ring. And it seems to have fell really lucky where these actually lined up in end. It doesn't look like we're going to struggle getting the wing lined up where we want it. So we get that one started. And hopefully we should be able to get us wing in place. And once they're all tightened up, there we have a pretty solidly mounted wing that should be far enough back from the rear end of the car not to get knocked off. And you can just lift these up a little and you can get to screws to adjust it. But yeah, pretty happy with how that's fitted. As I say, it is now fully adjustable and should be far enough back not to get knocked off, but we'll have to see. But let's wrap this one up. So there we have it. That was the stock wing that didn't live very long, and that is the aftermarket one, or the aluminium mount and the carbon fibre effect Tamiya one. Quite easy to fit. I think it looks really nice on it. I've just moved it into the rearmost position. Does feel nice and sturdy, but at least if this all gets ripped off, it should just rip the wing off and not the mounts. With them being held on in two positions and the rubber mounts underneath. Once I've got this all exactly where I want it, I'll just drop each screw out in turn and put some thread lock on it just to stop it vibrating out, because they do vibrate a bit, these TT02s, when they fly in round track. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one.